I was attacked and harassed by the APC thugs. There were lots of policemen. There were over 500 men from the security agencies in different uniforms. The place was heavily, how do I put it?
The drama that is unfolding as far as Natasha and Akpabio case is concerned is entering into another level. And you know, the husband of Natasha, that is a very good friend of Akpabio, have finally cried out that the life of the wife is already in a high threat. You know, it's no more the news that the security of Natasha was withdrawn due to the suspension, that they suspended her for 6 months and all of that. And this woman, according to report, have been moving all around without security. Now, the husband have finally cried out based on life-threatening attacks on Natasha at the moment. And Natasha herself have cried out. I will play the full video in this very video. Everywhere is boiling at the moment as far as Natasha case is concerned. So I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video. They are accusing Akpabio now of threatening Natasha's life according to reports. So I would like us to stay connected to the end of the video. If you can share the video, just well to share it. Share to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like the video. Like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. Just stay connected. I'll come back again.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to LAJUPOG TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, just do all to click the registration button appearing in your video screen, and at the same time click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know by notifying you. You know, everywhere is boiling as far as Natasha and Akpabio case is concerned, and this matter is already entering into another level. Though the court came out to make it known to the general public that either Akpabio or Natasha, none of them should come out to make any press conference or press release or even attend any media house for any interview and all of that. But it is obvious that it's only been Natasha that have been attending different media houses and granting interview based on this allegation that she's leveraging on Akpabio at the moment. Akpabio have never gone to any interview as far as this case is concerned because he vowed not to attend to any interview based on the case, and that is what is happening at the moment. Akpabio is minding his business and Natasha have only been the one going for interviews. Obviously, a lot of Nigerians came out, they make it known to the general public that the directive that the court gave is targeting Natasha directly, that they actually wanted to sign it her. Those are what a lot of people are saying at the moment. Now, Kasala Boss 3 years ago, you know, it's not more the news that they withdrew the police of Natasha, all the security agencies that are working with Natasha due to the suspension that they suspended her. They withdrew everything, and according to report, they said they even wanted to remove her salary, that they're not going to pay her for that 6 months. We don't know maybe that one actually stand or not, but the security was confirmed that it was removed, that this woman is working without security. And we know this insecurity level of the country at the moment. It was even few hours ago that according to reports, they kidnapped a particular politician in Nigeria, very popular figure for that matter, and they demanded for 50 million naira ransom. And after the 50 million naira ransom, after they gave it to the kidnappers still proved the politician, and they've been mourning the politician for some hours now. Everybody have been crying in the political cabinet and all of that. And Natasha is already running for her life at the moment because this woman is coming out and making it to the general public that Akpabio is after her life. And the video is circulating now that talks actually notch attack on Natasha at the moment. So I will play you the full video. You will see things for yourself before you listen to speculations. You will see things the way it goes. So I would like us to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share the video as you're watching it, just do well to share it. Share to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like it. Like the video, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. You know, a lot of people have been shouting all and around. They said no, nothing must happen to Natasha Akpoti. More especially people that actually come from our constituency, Kogi Central. They said nothing must happen to her because they believe that she's the only senator that have worked things out and they've seen results as far as Kogi Central is concerned. And a lot of people are even saying that this woman in question is the best performing senator as far as Nigeria is concerned. Now, they've been launching attack on Ireti Kingibe based on the fact that this woman went out and they expected her to support Natasha in LAJUPOG TV, but the woman said otherwise and she did not support Natasha. And according to report, she put her support for Akpabio based on the Natasha and Akpabio saga that is ongoing. This woman put her support for Akpabio according to reports, and a lot of people have been bashing her that why will you do that to Natasha that have been defending you with all her life and all of that. Yes, everybody have the right to their own opinion. Everybody have the right to say the truth that is within her and all of that. That Natasha have actually been saying good things about her doesn't mean that she will defend Natasha. So that is why a lot of people have been bashing her, and as if that is not enough, the same woman in question is on high jump at the moment, because a lot of people are saying that what she said about Natasha is uncalled for. You will see for yourself in this very video. I will play you the full video. You see things the way it goes. You will hear from the husband of Natasha. This guy that have always been a very good friend of Akpabio have finally come. You know, when a dog is playing with you before and dog circling back at you, you know that something is actually wrong. Now this man is saying nothing must happen to his wife, which is Natasha Rapoti, because a lot of things is ongoing, and the video is circulating that Natasha was attacked and Natasha is begging for her life at the moment that nothing must happen to her. So let me play the full video so that you see things the way it goes. For those of you that have not heard what Ireti said, that have actually be giving her headache at the moment, I'll play the video. You will see everything that she said, and you hear what some stakeholders actually say about what Ireti said. They said she's a betrayer. Just stay connected. If you can share the video, share. Then during the video, you will hear from Natasha herself, and you will hear everything, the attack that was launched on her by talk and all of that. You will hear things for yourself. Just stay connected. I'll come back again.
Since there are only 4 women, we've all 4 of us been particularly close. Senator Natasha and I have been also even closer because I take her as my daughter, as I'm old enough to be her mother, and I guide her, since in truth the Senate is predicated on ranking, and we were there a whole 6 months before her. So I'm able to tell her how things are done. Look at this, go here, check that out. So that, and then the day in question, I was not in the Senate. I was in NMPC hospital. When I came out of the hospital, my driver said to me, "Madam, there's wahala in the Senate." I said, "What about?" He didn't tell me, he just said Senator Natasha. As soon as I heard her name, as I always do with everything that concerns her, I promptly called her. I said, "Natasha, what's going on?" He said, he started to try to explain about seating. She had not given me the proper explanation. I had not been given the opportunity to respond when she said to me, "I'll call you back, I'll call you back." Till today, Senator Natasha has not called me back. I have a smartphone. Before I called Senator Natasha's husband, I had called Senator Natasha twice without response. Then I called him to say, "I've called her twice, she's not answering me." He said, "Oh, she went to Singapore. Maybe that's why." And then I said to him, "This is not the way this should be handled." Now, let's go on to other things. The reason we've heard it said everywhere that the 3 women in the Senate have been silent. Yes, because silence is golden, especially when one of us is not following the rules. And as women, we did not want to come out publicly to say anything negative about her. And we were hoping all of this will blow over, as a lot of things do. Now, the truth of the matter is, yes, the Senate is not gender friendly, but it has been improving, much better than when we first entered the Senate, I must say. And the truth of the matter is, when we make a fuss and we draw the attention of the Senate President, he does correct it. Truly, the Senate can do better than it's doing, but there's hardly anything that's been done to us that's not done to other men. It is more appropriate to say that the Senate is not opposition friendly. Now, the Senate leadership may not be gender friendly, but I must say the majority of the senators, they are very kind and they are conciliatory to us. They look out for the fact that women, some of them have been there before. They guide us on, do it like this, do it that way. And slowly, even I can say, without anybody repudiating that fact, that I am the singular senator that fights the Senate president the most. But I have learned to do it. If it arises on plenary, I deal with it there, especially when it's on issues to do with my constituency. When it's on other issues of privileges, I go and meet him when all the senators are in the dining room, and I fight with him there and get the support of other senators. Senate is a place where the majority takes the day. So then also I want to say something. Us women in the Senate, in fact, to be honest, Senator Natasha has gotten the most privilege of all the four of us. The seat I'm sitting in now have been moved 4 times. Senator Ipalibo Banigo has been moved at least twice.
All right. Senator Ireti.
No, please let me finish. I brought myself here. Then you can ask me.
Yes, but you also have a few minutes with you.
To the issue.
So can you just make it brief, because we do have follow-up questions.
It's all right.
All right.
I will make it brief. I wanted to say that this is about the rules of the Senate. So if I can point out that other women have been moved several times. On that day, I wasn't there, but I gather that several men were also moved. And I'm only here as chairperson of Women Affairs. I want women to know we have to follow the rules of the institution we choose to enter. And that is mostly the point of this visit here. Whether there's, sexual harassment between them, they already had personal relationships before they came to the Senate.
All right.
The 3 of us had no relationship with Senator Akpabio before we came.
All right, Senator.
So I'm ready for your questions now.
Yes.
And the question you asked me, I don't have enough of a relationship with Senator Akpabio to discuss sexual harassment with Senator Akpabio. When I go to the Senate and my neighbors or Senator Natasha is not there, I collect documents on their behalf. I collected some from Senator Natasha, informed her. She said she was home. I went to her house. I'm answering the question. I got there. She told me, after offering a meal, that she's supposed to discuss something with him, and he said to meet her in some hotel. I said to her, you only meet
Senator Ireti, I'm sorry, I have to come in at this point. We have limited time with you. Pardon me, I have tried.
You asked me a question.
My colleague asked you a question.
So if you just want a yes or no, I'll tell you no. I did not. I was trying to tell you what transpired. And as we were discussing, her husband came in. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
So that I could not have said so. I don't know.
All right. That's noted.
That's all I'm asking. You asked me a question, madam.
My colleague asked you the question. Thank you for getting to it eventually. Now,
I cannot see any of you, so pardon me.
It's okay. We're fine. We're just having a conversation here. You've made it clear the parts that you're aware of and what you're also unaware of. But some statements that you made, you did say that the Senate is not gender friendly, but it's been improving, and what is done to women is also done to men. That doesn't sound like it makes this experience okay. It also sounds a bit, to an extent, like you're minimizing Senator Natasha's experience, since you're saying that what she might have experienced is not something exclusive, but it's something that other people also experience. Now, I'm just wondering, as Nigerians, we most likely did not sign up for the senators to indulge in what is happening or engage in what's happening at the moment. I'm wondering how this public discourse, or discord, I should say, impacts the citizens' confidence in the Senate. Also, as a citizen of Nigeria, I would like to know your answer to that question.
It impacts it very negatively, and that's the only reason I have been sick. From here, I'm going to the hospital. It's the only reason I came. The Senate is not a place where we are supposed to be fighting over trivialities like sitting arrangements. It's a place where we're supposed to fight about issues that affect the people. And that's why this whole thing is a non-issue. If we were fighting, the truth, when I say it's not gender friendly, we expected, because there were only 4 of us, that we'll get privileges. But we don't get them. We fought to get there, and the fight continues until we can get more women in the Senate. So if we don't get privileges, we don't get them. But it does not mean that we don't get our rights. The 3 of us have not been sexually harassed. That's not to say if Senator Natasha can prove that she has been, that is fine. We will support her. But she's never discussed it with us. We don't know about it. She did not respond to the rest of the female senators. She has not spoken to any of us throughout this whole episode. From change of seat to now, Senator Banigo was with her, tried to talk to her that it can be resolved. She did not listen to her. So I'm coming to say that women of Nigeria have larger things in front of them. We are trying to pass special bills, 35% inclusion. We cannot be fighting over where we sit. And it really denigrates the institution in a manner that's not beneficial to Nigeria, the people, or the women. That's all I'm here to say.
All right. Well, some people would have said that Rosa Parks shouldn't have fought for her seat in what became a historic movement for the empowerment of not just black people, but women as well. So sometimes it begins with a fight over a seat. Now, don't you think that this whole debacle has now opened us up to bigger conversations? Number one, around the possibility that there may be some sort of harassment, sexual advancement happening behind the scenes. As we are well aware, it happens in several institutions around Nigeria. Are you dismissing that it is absolutely impossible that anything of this nature could be taking place?
No, I'm not saying it's impossible. No, it's not impossible. Remember, the issue was seat assignment. If we've been in the Senate a year and a half, I doubt that it was the day that this happened. Senator Natasha, I go to the other senators, female senators, with an issue, and they tell me, okay, you leave it. You're more confrontational than us. We will handle it. Senator Natasha has never discussed with the rest of us senators, and I speak on behalf of the three of us. We are older than Senator Natasha. We're wiser. We've seen a lot of things. So, and we've taken her, I have taken her as my child. There's no reason for me not to support her. Even over the change of local content, I was going to take it up with the Senate President. She told me she preferred where she was, and then I dropped it. Before that, I was the first person to take Senator Akpabio on about the market. He didn't even realize he had offended us until I tabled it. So the impression that she's all alone, it's not right and it's not correct.
It's not every woman who should be where they are. She's forgotten that Senator Natasha, what has she had? What, 3, probably 12 years of trying, being abused, being maligned in Kogi, having the road to our constituency dug up by the former Governor Yahaya Bello. She's had threats to her life, yet this woman did not give up. She was determined, she was focused, she was undeterred, and she continued and continued. She persevered until she got there. It is sad that somebody like Senator Reti Kingigbe, who clearly only just got there like that, doesn't appreciate the struggle of her colleague. But what's even worse, and this is on a personal level, is the infantilization. We do this in Nigeria. We call, they'll call the leaders, he's the father of the nation. Akpabio is the father. Well, no, I know who my father is. I'm sure you know who your father is. The president is my president. He is not my father. The president is responsible for the nation. He is not the father of the nation. That is how we constantly, project the powers that we have as citizens onto leaders who are working for us. But sadly, Senator Reti again was so unintelligent yesterday that she kept referring and infantilizing Senator Natasha Akpoti as my daughter. She's my daughter. No, she is not. She is your colleague. You are both senators, albeit, yes, you're older than her. And yes, we do have a culture. We have a culture that's in any part of the world. And it's not just Nigeria. You respect your elders. I worked with people. I have managed people who could be my grandfather, right? But they would never dare refer to me in an office or in a meeting as their daughter. That would be insane.
I'd like to come in there just because of the points that you've made, and really just coming from the reactions that we've seen since that, the accusations were made by Natasha here on Senator Natasha here on Friday. Now, first off, we're seeing Senator Reti Kingigbe coming out and saying, it's about the seat. She could have just gone to her own seat. We're seeing the Senate President's wife coming out and saying, I know my husband, he's a good person, he would never sexually harass anybody. I'm I'm always in the house. I know everything that is going on. And we also now have the side of persons who are saying that there have also been people who have falsely accused men of sexual harassment, only to find out that it didn't happen, but then the damage has already been done. How do we balance out, these kind of reactions, especially when it's a he said, she said situation, without the proof that I guess if we take to the court of law that needs to be there? How do we manage these kind of sensitive situations when it comes to sexual harassment, especially in the workplace against women?
Okay, so the first thing you do is, whilst we can acknowledge that human beings lie, literally, human beings lie. That is a fact. It's part of the foibles of being mere human. That might be a fact, but tiny. It is a tiny percentage that lie about rape, that lie about sexual harassment. Why? Because one of the hardest things to do is to come out as a woman and point to a man and say, you are the person that abused me. You are my abuser. You are my rapist. No. Women, you can see yesterday when Senator Natasha was on this show, on this at the station, you could see the heaviness in her voice. You could hear it, right? She was wearing sunglasses, but anybody who is discerning would know that there was a lot of pain going on behind those sunglasses. Even more so is, the moment a woman speaks up, she becomes even more vulnerable. So it's one thing to be vulnerable and be abused and you're dealing with it at home and you cry, oh by God you cry. But it's another thing when you then come out to the world and you say, this is my vulnerability. This is what has hurt me. This is what this man did to me. So when people say, oh, we hear of lies. Yeah, well, our politicians lie to us all the time. Hardly any of them ever go to jail for lying to us. So that's that. Now, going back to your other question about proving sexual harassment, this is also the other thing that I have been trying to educate. I'm tired. The large majority of very, very, very ignorant men, all of yesterday, is that the hardest thing to prove is sexual harassment. Why? Because the power of sexual harassment is the surprise, random, unexpected nature of it. So I didn't come here thinking anybody will sexually harass me. You don't go into your boss's office thinking you're going to be sexually harassed. But then it happens and you're in shock. You don't know what to do. So how do you prove that unless there was a witness, right? So if there's nobody there, well, of course it's he said, she said. This is why it beholds on all of us to actually, when it comes to these sorts of allegations, we are trained to always believe the woman first, not because we are sure they are telling the truth, but because when you say to somebody, I believe you, it's like your child. When you say, I believe you, it then gives you an opportunity to investigate. Because if you literally dismiss what they're saying, then you're not going to get a chance to investigate. So we really must applaud, I personally applaud Senator Natasha for her courage, incredible courage, especially in her position, for coming out, especially in a country like ours, especially in the cesspool that is a Nigerian sexual harassment epidemic. We do have an epidemic of sexual harassment and rape in this country. In actual fact, before I move on, I think we're at the point, as a girlfriend of mine said to me yesterday, and she too had been through that we need to declare a state of emergency, because it really is that bad. And it takes a woman, a really courageous, intelligent, sharp, determined woman like Senator Natasha, an Amazon, to come out and say, it has happened to me. Think of Weinstein. It took one actress to say, me too. So are we at the point where we're going to say, hashtag Akpabio me too? And Akpabio doesn't necessarily mean Akpabio the person, because he's not the only person that's called Akpabio. But that name, because you have a Senator Natasha who was able to point to say, this boss of mine allegedly did this to me, then the name Akpabio easily can become synonymous with sexual harassment and the declaration of war on sexual harassment.
While we're on that, because you know one of the biggest talking points at the moment is that, okay, fine, well, we've only heard one side of the story.
Correct.
What do you want to see happen? What are the next steps that, if I may call it, a sane climb, we would see taking place so that there can be justice, fairness, so this issue can be resolved in the correct manner?
Excellent question. Sorry, I didn't finish answering Shaitan's question because she did ask about the wife.
Yes.
Wives, it's okay to defend your husband if that's what you believe. You know, I understand that. After all, we're all women, right? It's love and all of that stuff. But it is pitiful when you say you are going to sue the accuser of your husband when the accuser didn't accuse you. It is pitiful that while she may have been at the house on that day, and Natasha told us her husband was also at the house, she certainly wasn't in his office when he did it the second time. So what is she going to sue about? What? Stand by your man? I don't know. Anyway, going back to your question again, please ask. Oh yeah, you said what do we want going forward? Excellent question.
Yeah.
What makes sense is investigation. Look, we can't keep having women literally coming out in spite of the abuse they're going to receive, because from yesterday, men, really stupidly ignorant men, had already started going on about Senator Natasha's history. Well, I dare them to ask their mother if their mother doesn't have a history of boyfriends. And why does it matter? Why should we care what a woman's history is? The fact of the matter is, whatever your history is, it does not invalidate that experience that she is claiming at that time, which is why we must investigate. How do we get a really sort of fair and decent and trusted investigation? The Senate President has to stand down. There's no other way, because he cannot preside over a case that's actually where he is the named perpetrator, allegedly, right? He can't. So at this point, we need the Senate President to stand down. At this point, I call, and I know that many Nigerian women actually agree with me, we call on President Bola Tinubu to actually do the needful. They need to advise the Senate President, Senator Akpabio, to stand down until the investigation is corrected. Because, Mr. President, you have an opportunity to change Nigeria. You're doing a lot of reforms, but this is a reform that's generations old, that should have happened. At this point, sir, we need you to stand up for women. Talk to Mrs. Remi Tinubu, your wife. She will assure you that many women, the chances are, and I don't have the stats here, but you speak to 20, 30 women in a room. 99% of them would have experienced one form of sexual violence or the other, at least once in their lives. We're talking about sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is why all the reforms you are doing, Mr. President, is actually not going to get very far. Because unless you stand up, sir, and you protect and speak up for women and say, the women of Nigeria come first, whatever you're doing, we're really not going to get very far.
I was attacked and harassed by the APC thugs. There were lots of policemen. There were over 500 men from the security agencies in different uniforms. The place was heavily, how do I put it? There were a lot of military men around. And as I approached the hall, I saw some young men in mufti. Obviously they were thugs. Some of them had the GYB t-shirts on them. And then the first attack was a verbal assault. The man calling me a prostitute. He said, there comes the prostitute. Look at Natasha Ashewo, get out, you are not wanted here. And I smiled, I kept on walking. As I approached the entrance of the door, and one of the thugs pulled at my handbag, and a policeman next to me just shoved it off him, and then another behind came and pushed me to the floor, and I tried to stand up. Maybe we should cut it off. I don't want to cry. Then I tried to get my balance, and they were all shouting that this GYB 4x4, that what right did I have to contest, that I was not going to participate, I was not going to go into the hall. And this happened just outside the door. So as I stood up, I adjusted my clothes and I tried walking towards the door. And some group, about 5 of these dogs, just ran in front of the door, holding onto the door and said, no, she's not going to enter. We're not going to let her in. She's not welcome here. She's a prostitute. And I looked at the faces. This, what hurts me most is Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the Commissioner of Police. They were all in the hall and they all heard, and none of them came out to stop.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can hear everything that was said in this very video. You know, a lot of people have been saying that Natasha was attacked and all of that, that Akpabio will intentionally remove her security so as to ensure that she will be attacked straight and direct. But we don't really know how true that is, but everything is alleged. But the video that I just finished watching, those are the video that they have been circulating. And that video is a 5 years ago video where Natasha actually came out when she was going to a police unit and she was attacked and all of that and blah blah blah. Those are what happened 5 years ago. That video is not recent, but still on the same fact, the Natasha in question couldn't come out to grant any interview again. If not, she would have come out to say that her life is under threat and all of that because of the security that was withdrawn from her and all, you know. But Natasha couldn't attend any interview now, but we saw it that Punch actually posted it out that Natasha is actually saying that her life is in danger at the moment because of the security that was withdrawn from her. You can see it on your video screen. You can see everything the way it goes now. It is all about writing at the moment. Nobody can come out for interview again. Now, the same thing that happened to Natasha 5 years ago, where thugs actually attacked her even when police officers were there and they couldn't do anything according to what Natasha said in that very video. That thing happened 5 years ago. So that same thing that happened 5 years ago when police were still around her, when there's still security agencies around her guiding her, how much more when there's no security agency around her? And whether you like it or not, you can't be loved by everyone. And this same Natasha in question is coming out to say that they should return her security. Even if they're gonna suspend her, the security must be returned. And that is why she's shouting. What happened to her 5 years ago, she did not want it to happen to her again. How thugs will attack people and all of that. She did not want thugs to attack her again. And the same thing is what her husband is saying. And those are what these people are standing for at the moment. They said the security of Natasha needs to be returned back to her so that nothing must happen to her. Because according to report now, all Nigerians are pointing fingers at Akpabio that if anything should happen to Natasha, that Akpabio will bear the consequence and all of that. But to state the real fact, the video that they'll be circulating up and down that Natasha was attacked a few hours ago and all of that by thugs is not a recent video. It's a 5 years ago video, and Natasha is fighting for the same cause, that nothing must happen to her, that she must not be attacked based on the insecurity level of the country. Kidnappers are kidnapping anybody, kidnap people. Even the poor is being kidnapped, the rich is being kidnapped, even politicians are being kidnapped and they are poofing them. Those are what is happening. Politicians with security. So those are what is happening as far as Natasha case is concerned. So Ireti Kingibe actually came out. You know, this woman is a Labour Party woman. And according to a report, they said Natasha had been doing everything possible to be defending this woman right from time. And a lot of people actually fall in love with Kingibe. Even when Wike actually have issue with Kingibe back then, you know, Kingibe is the senator in charge of Abuja, is an Abuja senator, and Wike is the minister of FCT. So they're working together in Abuja. But Wike refused to acknowledge her as somebody that is very reputable. But Ireti Kingibe came out and she shouted and she was talking regarding the fact that Wike is doing some irrational things as far as Abuja is concerned, that she is a senator in Abuja that is elected, but Wike is appointed by Tinubu and all of that, that she is having more rank than Wike. So it actually said all those things then, and Natasha in question supported her. Natasha pulled all her support for Ireti, but the issue of Natasha actually emerged now. But Ireti said otherwise. She pulled her support for Akpabio, and according to report, they said Ireti is alleged though. They said Ireti is one of the people that actually support the suspension of Natasha. Those are what a lot of people are saying. Though there are mere speculations at the moment, because we don't really know. Ireti didn't say that she supported her with her mouth. In the other vein, a lot of people are saying that Ireti is not owing Natasha anything, that Natasha may be supported by anyone, is anybody's opinion, and Natasha may not be supported. You have the right to your opinion, and those are what a lot of people are saying. Now, I'd like us to drop your opinion in the comment section of this video. Listen to the other woman that spoke in this very video. She said, if matter like this arises, that the woman is meant to be believed first until the investigation is finished. That it is when the investigation finished and they know the true fact, that's when to know who to judge and who to let go. And that is what the woman said in this very place. And she said what Ireti said is total rubbish. And those are what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are actually against Labour Party representatives that are in the Harlow chamber at the moment. They said all of them are failures. That's what a lot of Nigerians are saying. Now drop your opinion in the comment section of this video. What do you think will happen? Do you think Natasha is safe without the security that is guiding her before? And do you think she's not safe based on the fact that her security was withdrawn? Drop your opinion. Feel free. See your mind at the comment section. As I'm gonna dedicate another channel for you, and share, follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG TV and LAJUPOG Entertainment, and on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye for now.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor with the line on top, he pastor for LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor with the bar, where politician with the do pass himself. Corrupt leader, all the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.